Hi guys, hope you're all keeping well in these tough times. Hopefully you'll be able to get on the bank soon. But in the meantime, I thought I'd do a little video on some of the flies in my pike fly collection and hope it may inspire some of you to give it a go or have a look and see if you need any more flies to your collection. Now I have to mention Steve Keeler of the Black Country Piker, because of him was where I first saw pike flies in action when he was using lightweight Larry. And I contacted him and he very kindly put me in touch with a man called Ian Clark, who I don't think does flies for sale, but I was grateful that he managed to send me a couple, and they were very important because without those lures and without them working and catching on them and seeing what it was all about, my obsession wouldn't have grown. And a couple of the flies I got from him were these ones. They're like, I think they're called the flash tails, and they're about 10 inches long, and as you can see there's lots of flash in them, and the movement's great, and I've caught quite a lot of nice pike on there. And in some of them he's put like a little rattle, and they are great lures, and I often put one on if I need to get a bite. And you can see me catch, you can see Abby land her first pike on an Ian Clark fly, so he has the honour of Abby's first pike in the Abby's first pike video. Also you can see them in the jig fly fishing success video, but they were the ones that all started this obsession. And then so from then I'm going to just start off with some smaller flies which I haven't really used left yet, but as I'm more into my zander and perch fishing I will be using them. This one is a little Berthoud. It's about 4 inches, and I've added a chevrite on the front. And I've used this recently to try and catch some zander, but unfortunately I wasn't successful that time. But it's something I really want to do this year, is to catch a zander on a fly. So I'll keep trying. So that's a mini Berthoud, I think, and this is a sample fly, which I haven't actually used yet, but I will. And then Roy and Lambert also sent me a little perch fly, which again I'll put in my perch collection, and I'll try sometime this year. Now if I see a small pike follow, or I see a small pike or some fly scatter like there was in the Fishing with Speedy video, I turn to my unicorn fly lure from MS Customs, and it's like a little flash tail in like a unicorn pattern, we called it, because he did one for Abby, but I think it's also like a rainbow trout colour as well. I think it's got a 6 gram on a weight on, but because it's quite small and it goes at about 5 inches, you have to use it quite quick because it sinks quite quickly. But I have caught quite a few pike seeing the fly jumping or a little follow and changing onto something smaller like this. And he has caught me quite a few pike, that one has. Right, so my other company I turned to when I first started was MS Custom Lures, and got myself a couple of Reapers, which are flies like this, and these go at about 10 inches, and these have a lot of material and a lot of movement and flash, and very popular and are a real good fly. As you can see there in the flash. So yeah, the MS Custom Lures, and you can see them being used in the jig fly fishing success video, but they are very popular, and MS Customs do them for sale, so take a look at their site as well. Now Ryan Houston from Ryan Houston Salmon, Trout and Pike Flies, he did me this wrap version, and I have absolutely loved using this and had lots of fun with these and caught a few pike, missed a heck of a lot. I've added an extra hook on to try and increase the hookup rate, but it sinks really slow. It's got a nice side to side action, and yeah, like I say, lovely to use. With the tail extended, they go to about 9 inches, but they're great lure, and I look forward to using them when the summer warms up, when the weather warms up a little bit. Well, then we've come on to the first lot of flies from Flies for Preds. these are my number one go-to place now. I've spoke to Dave a few times and he's been so helpful. His customer service is brilliant, delivery is great, and I just want to help build his company up by advertising it quite a bit. And I was talking to him about rattling flies, and these are his takes on them. What you've got these like 3 little discs on the shank of the hook, and as they move they give off that little rattle. And when I first used this little fly, I caught 4 jacks on it, and these go to about 6.5 centimetres, and they're great little lures, and I thought they're quite clever the way he's done the rattle like that. Now I need to mention Ryan Lambert's fly. This Fire Tiger fly, which goes to 8 inches, is the fly that I've caught my biggest pike on at £14, and you can see that in one of my very first videos called Jig Fly Fishing Success. But again, lots of flash, quite a lot of material, another great little fly. Well, I was quite honoured when I was told the name of these flies that I've got here, that is named the Bickley tail changers, and as the name says, you can change the tails by just unscrewing the tail from the screw. Now these are unweighted because he knows I like to have my own weight, but on the website there's a couple of different versions. There's a 6.0 9 gram 8.50 or a 3 gram for £6.99. Now if you see a fly on the website and it says sold out, don't worry about it. Speak to Dave, contact him, and he'll fix you one up, no problem. But these are great, and out of these ones, this orange one I think is my favourite one. And with these tails were from AGM mermaid tails, give a lovely rippling action to complement the actual flies, but they've been great as well. And when I first got them, I thought there won't be any need to use any other flies, but how wrong was I, because I just keep changing, and Dave just keeps bringing out different versions and models, and I have to try and they all catch, and I can never settle. Now this fly has a nice little story to it. It's called the Cinderella Fly. Now his daughter's tinsel dress broke. Now instead of just throwing it away, he recycled the tinsel and used it on the fly instead of the flash. And on a hard day's fishing, I managed to get 2 jacks out using this lure. But I just thought the story behind it was great, so I had to have one. And these are about 9 inches long, but yeah, great fun little lure, and one I often put on every now and then. Okay, the next fly is probably one of my favourite flies, and it's from the Danny Perkins collection. It's the 13-inch Mega Jig, and as you can see there's lots of material. It's got 2 hooks to allow bigger hook up, and it's got lots of movement, and you can see a great take on the Finally Got to Fish a River video, and the fish just inhale it. But this is one of my favourites, which I often put on. Nice big eyes, yeah, superb tail, and they're only $9.99, so it's an absolute bargain if you ask me for those ones. Absolutely brilliant. I know one of the recent versions he's done are these head cases, and I've got a little foam disc at the front which pushes a lot of water, and also like a stiffer material here, but then it goes onto this flash on the tail which gives it a nice movement in the water, and I've liked using these. They're quite nice to use. As you can see on here, I've added a little weight. Now I'm a big fan of these dragon spinning weights. These come in 5, 7, 10, 15 and 20 grams, and you can just click them onto a fly. The problem I found is if you use a jig head, sometimes it might be too heavy for a situation or too light, but when you add your own weight on, you can use the fly in several different situations. But these little weights, I think they're called the HTO tungsten weights, and they're a lot smaller, but they are quite a bit more expensive. So I do like the dragon spinning weights, but no problems with them. Strong, sturdy, absolutely brilliant. But they're the head cases, and they are coming out at $14.99. One of the other flies I've been given recently, I was honoured that Dave told me that his daughter made me a fly, and we called this one Demi Mouse. And I did catch on it on the 4-to-1 video. It was going through a hard spell at that time. It was hard to catch some pike, but managed to get one on this one. And it's got a lot of action, lots of segments in there, all individually done, and these rubber elastic like legs kind of thing. Nice action in the water, and you've got a hook at the back and a hook at the front, and these are about 9 inches, but these aren't on the website. But I'm sure if you wanted one like this, he could get his daughter to make one, and she makes the best flies anyway. So I have had some new lures come through, but I haven't been able to try yet. And when you see this envelope come through the door, you know what it's all about. Absolutely brilliant. So let's get these flies out and have a quick look at these ones. I've got a big bushy one here. I think it's on a 3 gram one. Lots of material. It's got a big profile by the looks of it. Haven't used it, as I said. It's got some flashes in, so it'd be nice to get that one out and try. That goes out about 9-10 inches. These are interesting ones. These are spintails, and these are $8.99 on the website. So they've got a little blade at the back, which is going to give off a lot of vibration and some flash. Something a bit different that the others haven't got. So it'd be very interesting to see how that works. Quick retrieve, I think, would be best to get this going. But yeah, really looking forward to using that one. And another one I just brought, and I've even added a weight on getting ready to go and use it, but then the restrictions came in. And this is the big Berthoud ones. And these have got feathers on the back. The first flies I've got, which have got feathers, so it'd be interesting to see the action on these. But again, 2 hooks on, with this tuft at the front. I'd imagine that will push a lot of water. So excited to see how that one works. And then 2 more. I said to Dave, I want, I'm looking to get some flies for the surface. So in the Danny Perkins range, I managed to get this little one, which is about 7 centimetres. But I'm imagining that this is going to be like a popper with a concave front, which looks like a bit like a shark, I think it's supposed to be. I think that's going to push quite a bit of water. So it'd be interesting to see how that works in the water. But the one that intrigues me the most is this little mouse. So as you can see, there's a mouse, and it's got 2 hooks on, segmented, so I think there's going to be a lot of movement. 9 inches, and black is a great colour, especially for the summer on the surface. You think a pike's looking up to the bright sky, a black silhouette is going to stand out brilliantly. So I will really look forward to using that. And as you can see, I've got 4 boxes of flies, and I haven't even spoke about all of them. We've still got a lot still left in here, which I haven't mentioned, but that's just how mad I've got on these flies. And like every single one of these I've caught fish on. Colour wise, since I've been doing the videos, colours for me, it's been like brighter the better really, because I like to see the fly, and I like you to see the fly in the video. But if I had to choose the one colour, it'd be like a bait fish one, like the Demi Perkins one, or the Ian Clark one we mentioned earlier. Quite visible in the water, and it's great. But colours, for me, it's always come second to actually how you use the lure. But yeah, if I had to choose, it'd be the bait fish version. And that's about it really. So hopefully that's gave you a little insight into my pike fly collection, and maybe if you're thinking about it, check out Flies for Predators, MS Custom Lures, MS Custom Flies, or Ryan Hooson salmon, trout and pike flies. And there are others out there, I know, but they're great, easy to use. The pike inhale them, absolutely nail them. I'm sure once you've tried them, you won't look back. On a more serious note, with all the restrictions and what's going on in the country at the moment, I know it can be hard for some people. Some people mentally might be struggling. And if you need someone to reach out to or to talk to, just hit me up. Find me on Facebook as Paul Bickley. My profile picture is a picture of Abby with a red background. or I'm on Instagram as bickley.p. I'm starting a new job tomorrow, but I'm free in the evenings. If you just want to chat, want some distraction, I'm always here to listen and to help you. I don't know you, you don't really know me, so we can't judge, so feel free if you need to just to message me. But hopefully in a couple of months' times we will be back on the bank, and until then, look after yourself and tight lines.